And welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here, as always, by the man who would never hit Patrick Mahomes when he's out of bounds. Kyle, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good day, I would say. Pretty fun football games.
What game was your favorite?
Definitely the second one.
Yeah. It was a great half of the day, I think. I think that, the first one got off the rails quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed some of it still, but yeah, I mean, it got a little rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Football is football. We there's plenty of stuff to talk about. I think I have plenty of takes on that game. Plenty of takes on both of these games. I think that although Kyle, I have to say, our scores now look a lot worse. Both of us putting 18 points on the Bengals to win.
Yeah, we definitely got our championship week curse. We're so bad at this, so it's only fitting that we both get that one wrong.
Hey, I got one right this week, so it was okay.
You did. I was 0 for 2. But you know what? Someone's got to be wrong sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, it all comes down to the Super Bowl now. If I pick the Super Bowl right, I win. If I don't, and I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. I have no idea. So it just should be an awesome Super Bowl.
As Tony Romo would say, we both really want to win this one. I got to say.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I have to say, Romo. I know he's not your favorite. I know he's not. I thought that the entire I thought the CBS crew was completely on it. The whole crew. When that inadvertent whistle thing happened, or like that clock management thing happens, and they just get it immediately. I don't know. Good stuff by them, I thought.
There were some moments. Romo was, I thought, bad in this game.
See, I don't listen to everything. Sometimes I have to, I've been making videos throughout, so I don't catch it all.
Yeah. He called Burrow and Mahomes MJ facing Drexler in the 91 finals. That's what he compared it to.
Okay.
What else did he have? Or 92 finals, sorry. But anyway, he called he had some, I don't know, he just had the he did something where they both really want to win this game, Jim, and it's the AFC Championship game. Like, of course, I'm convinced he's the real life Pepper Brooks from Dodgeball. That's what he is. He's the real life Pepper Brooks.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I love it though. I'm all in. I don't know. I want my commentators to be interesting. He's interesting.
Yeah, I guess
he doesn't make the game worse to me. I like his energy.
He brings good energy. He brings a lot of energy. Doesn't really know what to say, but he has the energy for it.
Yeah, doesn't. I don't know, Jim. Yeah, we have the great overlap 618 in the chat. Reffing was terrible, all time bad. We will get into it. You're right, overlap. Jackson and Kyle, all time great, also very true. That's gonna be most of our show is talking about that. Eagles going to smash the Chiefs and Brady to the Niners. Don't at me. Well, all right. Well, we won't at you. Overlap 618. But no, this is good stuff there. You want to just get into the games?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
All right. So obviously we're going to start off with Bengals Chiefs, as that was the game that totally lived up to the hype. For a second, it looked like it wasn't. For a second, it looked like Kansas City was going to kind of run away with it a little. But the Bengals came back. They scored 10 points. To tie the game after being down 10. There was that insane sequence of Patrick Mahomes just forgetting how to throw a football all of a sudden and throwing the ball, just letting it slip out of his hands, and then a fourth down, not touchdown, but big play to Jamar Chase set up a touchdown. But ultimately, I think where we have to start, let's not bury the lead, the Joseph Ossai penalty. I mean, this is Ossai was having sort of a breakout performance, kind of. He's had some good games in the past, but this was kind of, definitely hearing his name a lot by the broadcasters in a big game. Definitely kind of a performance that was going to get him a lot of attention. Unfortunately, now it's for the wrong reason, as he ends up with the late hit out of bounds that puts the Chiefs would have been kind of in field goal range. It would have been at the 42-yard line is where Mahomes stepped out, so it would have been a 59-yarder. In those conditions, I don't think a 59-yarder is getting made or even attempted. There was 8 seconds left, but no timeouts. Maybe they try something, but ultimately with the penalty, the Chiefs were able to win.
Yeah, I am with you on that. It was a good game for him. I mean, this Cincinnati defensive line, we'll get to the Kansas City defensive line in a second, but Cincinnati's defensive line in this game, I mean, it was very clear from the very first snap, because we saw, everyone's like, oh, well, he wasn't moving with the limp at all in practice Wednesday. He came down from the podium with no limp at all. And everyone's like, what exactly is he going to look like in this game? it was very clear right away that it affected him. And I thought his velocity on I thought when he really needed one, he stepped into it. I thought his like his every down throw velocity was a little lower than usual. I thought, his mobility obviously was much more limited than usual. And these Cincinnati defensive linemen just decided they were going to pin their ears back and try and collapse his pocket on him. And I mean, there were stretches where it worked. I mean, the problem is it wasn't consistent enough, but he did have a very good game. And just a really bad play there at the end. It's really tough because you're sprinting towards the sideline. It's hard to stop on a dime like that, but you got to find a way to pull up there and not make that play. That doesn't take away from some of the refereeing decisions for me, but that was definitely a clear as day call. That was a bad decision.
Yeah, we can put it. We'll talk about the ref stuff definitely. But yeah. As the Mahomes of it all, let's talk about the one thing about Mahomes that is just remarkable. And again, as a self-proclaimed Mahomes simp here, I mean, I'm definitely going to be excited about some of this stuff. Of like, I don't know how he does it. The amount of what appeared to be a clear sack, only for him to get the ball out. Amount of plays in this game, like I know it's like not like what you typically talk about, but like that legitimately saved a couple of drives for them.
Yeah. Especially on that last drive, really, too, even. He almost took a sack on 2 of those plays, got the ball out, one for a completion, and, he was able to make it work. And despite it all, he managed to get a couple of plays go in his favor. And it was interesting to watch him have to approach games differently than what he normally does. Like, we know Mahomes is great at everything. We know he's the best quarterback in the league, which is, I don't know why everyone's saying, oh, put some respect on his name. We all know he's the best right now.
Yeah.
We all know he's great and does everything really well. It was interesting having him be limited and see what he had, processing the game differently, willing to accept checkdowns more, doing all this different stuff that like a normal quarterback would do. But he's like, having to, it's our first time really seeing him having to look normal, and he's still really great at it.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely, and he did it without all-world wide receiver Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, Tony.
I was so ready when I thought he had that touchdown. I was so ready to, so many jokes I had at their disposal, and then it was incomplete. I was so sad.
Yeah. Andy Reid thought he had a touchdown, just decided to throw away a challenge flag.
Well, wait a second. We can't criticize him for that if we're going to. I mean, I'm assuming we're also going to criticize Kyle Shanahan for not challenging in the 49ers game, unless you like that as well.
Yes, I don't like that. I think you should challenge it.
But why do you not like? But then why do you not like this? Isn't that the same thing? Of like, hey, like let's see here.
I don't know. I don't love throwing away timeouts in big games, especially when like he basically.
My question is, isn't it the same logic though? If you don't know if it's a question mark, is it a challenge or is it if the challenge is going to be successful or not? But it's a big play in the game.
Well, one was a 4th down and goal, and the other one was a 3rd down, and you're still getting 3 points. I do feel
but that's still a 4-point swing. I mean, that's still a big jump.
Yeah, but the difference in that game, the difference between the Kyle Shanahan play was potentially 7 points or 0 points. Whereas that play for Reid,
4 points is still worth a timeout, especially in the first half.
I don't know. I don't think it's worth it at that point in the game.
That's crazy. That's absolutely. If you have a 50-50 shot at getting
it wasn't a 50-50 shot though.
What would you say? What would you say the odds were?
What?
What would you say the odds were of it getting overturned? Given what Andy Reid knew at the time.
I mean, what did he know at the time? Because even that back replay, you see the ball roll over and hit the ground.
I don't know. I didn't see any. Well, I remember. I believe Romo was like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe you challenge this one at a certain point." So I don't know what angle they saw first. I don't know what they saw first. My whole thing is, if you think you have even a 10% chance of gaining 4 points, that's worth a timeout.
I don't think it's worth a timeout at that spot. I don't know. I when I saw the replay, I didn't think there was any chance that was getting overturned.
We have super chat. Zachary Stewart. Wow, Mahomes the greatest. The Brady hate is unreal. I think he's saying, yeah, Kyle. No, I believe you're saying right now.
Yeah, greatest right now. I mean, not all the time. Let's calm down.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in favor of it. I think it's I think if it's a massive swing in the game, and you feel like there's a chance that it was actually a catch, which it wasn't. Like there was a clear angle to see it. But if the first angle the guy is saying, I don't know what happens, but from what I saw, maybe I missed the clear angle watching it. I was like, I have no idea if this is a catch or not. So in my opinion, it's like I don't know, feels like there's a chance, feels like it's worth what's the value of a timeout in the first half? Like, what's the point of that? If someone said, I'll give you a point for a timeout in the first half, would you take that deal or no?
Sure. But I mean, at the same time, like, the thing is, though, is that what we're forgetting here is like he didn't have to make that challenge right away. He had 40 seconds on the play clock to decide what he wanted to do.
Sure.
Like he didn't have to throw it on the first replay he saw.
That's true. It's a little different in the Shanahan thing where Shanahan had like 10 seconds to throw it.
Yeah, so I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah, potentially. Fair enough. We'll agree to disagree on this. I like that you didn't, but it is a little bit different than the Shanahan thing. But back to the Chiefs of it all, and the Chiefs offense. A couple of notes I have. I thought the offensive line played well in this one. Now the numbers won't show it. Again, like you said, there were plenty of pressures, and the rushing totals were not great. I thought they'd be able to run the ball well. They were not. I still thought the offensive line. I thought it did its job in this one.
I mean, when your quarterback's anchored to a spot, it becomes a lot harder to do what you do at a very high level, right? But
And it's a quarterback who's not used to being anchored to a spot too. It makes it even harder.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought it was a decent game overall. There were some stretches where, I mean, the big thing, they put together 3 or 4 pretty good drives, I thought, in this game, and that was the big thing. Because yes, they got beat sometimes, they got beat a handful of times, but I thought overall, yeah, I mean, I thought there was enough drives that they played really well and did their assignments, and that got them downfield, and they blocked really well in the run game too, I thought, even though the numbers don't show it.
Right. The real stories though are, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Really, Mike Hilton had a rough day. That just really, that was a big thing that happened here.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of said in the pregame show that somebody for Kansas City had to show up besides Kelsey, right? We said they needed that extra guy, and in this one it was Scantling, and it was kind of interesting how that was not kind of the matchup I was thinking that was going to be exploited, was Mike Hilton in that slot spot. Like that was probably the last matchup I'd say they go to. And it was just interesting that that's what they went out and found success in. And I don't really know why that happened.
Yeah,
Cincinnati
I don't know.
Was weird defensively.
It was so weird. Yeah, we probably get out of that. I mean, yeah, Marquez Valdes-Scantling ended up with 8.7 total EPA in this one. Kelsey 7.7. Under targets. Yeah, very bizarre. Where I kind of came in saying, here's what Cincinnati should do: just don't overthink it. Play very simple. I thought they started doing that in the second half. The first half, I thought this was just complete. I mean, there's plays where they're dropping defensive linemen into coverage and rushing linebackers and safeties instead, and like all these crazy things they're doing. It's like you're overthinking this. Let Mahomes just do. You can defend Mahomes. You have the talent to do it. We also have a super chat. Mahomes literally and the whole Chiefs offense limped through this game. Yeah, kind of true, but I thought they made some plays as well. But I get the joke at least. But Kyle, your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I thought on both sides of the ball they overthought it, honestly. And we'll talk about the offense in a sec, but the defense especially, I thought they were trying to like. It almost felt like they were trying to gauge of how much Mahomes could actually move before they decided what they wanted to do. Right? Like it seemed like they wanted to see exactly what he could do before deciding, hey, we have to start playing football now. And I think they held up in the red zone those first few drives, so it gave them a chance. And it wasn't a bad defensive game, but at the same time, it just felt like every time Mahomes needed a big play, a 3rd and 6, a 3rd and 7, he was converting it basically the entire game because I don't know, there was just some weird things they were trying to stunt. Like you said, they were trying to show some fakes, and it just didn't seem like they were ever going to throw Mahomes off his game with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just that's just not how you. I don't know. It's hard because it really is a pick your own poison with Mahomes, right? But like, I just feel like this is a team they've played well against the Chiefs historically. I think they were kind of lucky in that first half to only be down 7.
Yeah, well, I thought the thing was they ended up getting the 1 touchdown on that 3rd down or whatever, or the 4th down. But I thought the big thing with Mahomes' mobility was the red zone offense. I thought took a hit. Because you can't do the dorky stuff they do.
Right.
They can't do all that crazy stuff they do in the red zone when he can't move around in the pocket and do all that crazy stuff in the backfield. So that I thought took the biggest hit in this game, and that's where the Bengals really held up. But I don't know. I just feel like if a quarterback's on one foot, letting them move however they want from the 20-yard line to the 20-yard line just feels kind of unacceptable at times.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And and that's kind of my point is, like what Anthony in the chat saying, 23 points. Wow, I'm waiting to be impressed. Again, and I also have to say, trolls at an all time high here, heading into Super Bowl week. I mean, the people that like to make fun of other teams are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoff time. This is when everyone shows up, even if they, haven't watched a lot of games this season. I would say that this was a pretty good offensive game for Kansas City. And like I said, they're running stats. I actually thought they ran the ball a lot better than what the 42 yards showed. I thought it was a lot higher than that, but they had a few called back. But the passing game had what, 6.8 yards per pass? I mean, that's pretty impressive given the circumstances here.
Right. It's all given the circumstances. It's all.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think the defense is why they won the game. But while we're talking about the Chiefs' offense, I have positives I have to say about the Chiefs' offense. We can talk about issues as well. I think again, Mahomes. Having the ball to slip out of his hands, which is it's the funniest thing for me. Like that will never. I'll see that 20 years from now, and it'll still make me laugh. That's just peak comedy for me. Is seeing an all-world athlete do something silly. So like that. That wasn't great. There were mistakes in this one as well. But at the end of the day, I thought that to me the Chiefs were the better offense in this one as well.
Yeah, and the numbers back that up too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
plays were basically even. They were better on third and fourth. I mean, third and fourth down was basically even too. They turned the ball over less, and the yards per play were better. Yeah, they were a better team on the offensive side of the ball today. And given the circumstances, that feels like a miracle.
Yeah. Let's talk about let's talk well, you know what? How about this? As a intermission in between the Bengals offense and the Chiefs offense, or I guess other way around. Let's talk about you touched on the referees. Do you want to do it all in one segment, or do you want to just do it in the ones from this game in this segment, and then do because there was a lot today.
Yeah, there was a lot going on today. I barely can even remember the Eagles 49ers ones.
Uh-huh.
But
Let's just start with this game for now.
okay, this was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. And the thing is like a lot of this didn't even matter. Like a lot of these play calls and these official calls didn't matter. Cause like there was the bizarre, like what was it? Um the redoing the third down, which made
That's the
absolutely
most
zero.
insane one. Yeah.
Yeah. That one didn't matter as much. There was the big one to me was the first down on the challenge play.
Yeah, I don't think that. I was surprised that was overturned. That might have been a first down, but I was surprised they overturned that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the rule is specifically that if you reach the ball over and bring it back, that doesn't count.
Right.
Like you have to land. I don't know. That was the worst one to me. But then, like I said, the bizarre redoing on third down one. There was the intentional grounding on Burrow when like Piron's literally like 4 yards past the ball. And then not only
Mhm.
that, when they threw the flag, I thought it was going to be roughing the passer because Chris Jones just flat out like plants him, lands straight on his right arm, and yet they call the intentional grounding when Piron's 4 yards away from the ball. Like I've seen a much more egregious intentional grounding plays than that one that were called. Then on the punt return, of course, it didn't matter because they got the first down on that one. And then the second big one to me was the punt return, where I mean, there's a clear as day someone being launched 2 yards upfield because he's blocked in the back, and Sky Moore gets a 30-yard punt return off of it. Like that was
Yeah.
one of the most egregious plays I thought I saw too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there were plenty of questionable calls. The one that was I want to talk the most about though is that third down thing because I made a video kind of recapping what happened, why it happened. Where also I just realized I spelled it wrong in my title of the video. That's always good. I wrote instead of give GICE. That's not ideal. But the what happened was I guess just like the play clock randomly started running like as they're getting ready to snap the ball, and so one of the refs, but for some reason it's like the ref who's like furthest away from the ball is the one trying to stop the play, and so nobody heard it. I even listened to it and I couldn't hear a whistle. Is his whistle broken? Does he not know how to whistle? Did he make it a conscious effort not to? I don't know, but there was no whistle. Got stopped, and then there was a penalty right after that gave him the first down. they ended up
Yeah.
getting stopped short right after, so it didn't end up mattering. But like, thank God. I mean, what if the Chiefs scored a touchdown on that, and that was the reason they won?
Yeah, we wouldn't have heard the end of it, honestly, and
Hmm.
that was bizarre. Because the thing is, too, is it didn't even look like he had, you know, ran onto the field before the ball even snapped. Because they showed the Skycam footage of it, and it looked like he wasn't even on the field trying to stop the play by the time Mahomes had the ball in his hands.
Yeah, we couldn't really tell. It was like he was making
Yeah,
because he wasn't in the shot at the same time. So yeah, we couldn't really tell. But yeah, it was, I don't know, very bizarre. All around, and it wasn't even like a top two crazy referee moment of the day because of what happened in the other championship game. But yeah, unfortunate that it happened. I still think the right team won though.
yeah. I mean, I did too because I mean, despite all of the stuff we just said, the Bengals scored a touchdown to tie it at 2020, got 2 stops and had 2 chances to win the game. They didn't win it on those 2 chances. So, I mean, I can I can say some of it was bad. I thought like I said, the 2 that were big to me were that, they gave him a first down on a play that didn't look like a first down, although it would have been like 4th and inches.
Hmm.
And then the other one was the block in the back one that set up the winning field goal. Those are the 2 that I think you can have some legitimate gripes about, but the Bengals still had 2 chances to go down and score in this game, tied 2020.
Yeah, and let's talk about. I don't know. There's a bit of a turning on Joe Burrow, right? Everyone loves to turn on the
Is there?
quarterback who. I mean, again, I think that's a very predictable outcome, right? Of a hyped up quarterback loses the championship game. This is what tends to happen.
I mean, I hope not. I mean, honestly, who's saying Burrow can't who's saying Burrow sucks or is like
There's
overrated or
there's now
anything
the
like that?
Burrow was overhyped. Burrow, I thought Burrow was supposed to have the it factor. He threw 2 interceptions in this game and couldn't get the team to come back. I thought he was the next Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh. People are dumb. This is why, you know what? People don't need the internet. That's what it is. People really shouldn't have the internet if they have opinions like this. One of the interceptions he threw into his guy had a step. It wasn't the best throw. It wasn't his best game. He threw it downfield and the guy deflected the ball in the air and it was intercepted.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's stuff like people really thought Joe Burrow was better than Patrick Mahomes. Laughing, crying emoji. Laughing, crying emoji. Who?
nobody
Who?
thought
Who are
that.
these people?
Yeah, nobody thought that. All we were saying is Joe Burrow. I think what we said was Joe Burrow has stepped up to his biggest challenger, which is still true. Which is
Hmm.
still the truth. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing. This is why people don't need the internet, honestly.
Yeah, well, this is a good point. Burrow versus the Steelers this year: 6 interceptions, 2 fumbles. Those aren't good numbers, Kyle.
Oh man, overrated.
Yeah. No.
Oh, what a
Uh,
terrible thing.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying it always happens. It unanimously every time a big name quarterback loses the big game. This happens, and this wasn't his best day, I didn't think, but I mean he still had some incredible plays in this one. I mean that. And receivers had some incredible plays as well. I mean that throw and catch to T Higgins for a touchdown was just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, he had another throw too to Hayden Hurst. That I
Yeah.
mean, you can't throw a better football into the end zone. And then he had another one that I think hit Jamar Chase's helmet through 2 guys. I mean, he had
Hmm.
some, he had some incredible incomplete passes. Never mind the passes that he did complete. I mean, it wasn't his best game. I do think that. I didn't think it was his best game, but to act like he's overrated off this is blasphemous. I mean, honestly. I mean, this was uh, the big thing with this Bengals offense for me is I thought the game plan dropped the ball. I was pretty disappointed in what happened here. I didn't get it.
What were you disappointed by?
Everything should have been outside the numbers. It seemed like
Hmm.
every time they threw these quick screens to Jamar Chase, he got an automatic 5 to 6 yards. I don't understand how you go a football game where Jamar Chase is the best receiver I've ever seen. I don't even care about Randy Moss. Randy Moss couldn't
Uh-huh.
run over the middle like Jamar Chase. I don't care. Jamar Chase is the best receiver I've ever seen, and he gets
Wow.
8 targets in your biggest game of the season. I don't get it. Why would you do that? Why would you do something like that? That's blasphemous. I didn't think it was a very good game plan. I thought everything should have been outside the numbers, especially when Snead got hurt on what, like the 4th or 5th play of the game.
Hmm.
Like I thought as soon as he went out, everything should have been outside the numbers. Now the big thing was, Spagnuolo did a heck of a job drawing up some blitzes in this game, getting after them, and trying to confuse the Bengals offensive line. But everything quick outside the numbers worked for Cincinnati, and they didn't run enough quick outside the numbers stuff for me.
Yeah. We have someone in chat saying, blame the game plan, laughing, crying emoji, perfect cop out. Kyle, the Burrow haters are coming after you.
Okay, I don't care. Um,
Ooh,
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has more playoff interceptions than Jameis Winston. I mean, Kyle, these numbers are I think I'm starting to agree with the chat.
Oh yeah, you're off Joe Burrow now.
Yeah, I think so. I think they talked me out of him. No, but
Oh
you know,
God.
I think I don't know. Well, I don't disagree. I think that I kind of go the other way. I think I give credit to Kansas City more so than give blame, and they deserve some blame for sure. But like, I don't know. I thought that they kind of had the strategy of we're going to double Jamar Chase a lot, which Cincinnati countered by going to T Higgins, where there was that one just weird play where it looked like T Higgins just like gave up on the route. I don't know what happened there. Ended up being an interception, but also a good play by Jalen Watson to get the interception. So
Hmm.
I thought that Kansas City rose to the occasion. And the biggest thing, which we haven't touched on yet, but it's we could have led with it honestly because it was such a big deal, was the Chris Jones of it all. I mean, he was just he was dominant, and I'm typically the guy who says receivers win you football games, and I still believe that, but there's no denying that this was as big of an impact as you'll see a defensive line and offensive line have. Also, we have a super chat saying Bengals fans are Eagle fans now. Yep, I think that's probably true. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean Chris Jones was amazing, and I mean I've sung my praises to Chris Jones this season. He's my defensive player of the year. I don't I don't know if he's going to win it, but I think he should. Um, and he was just an absolute home wrecker. And one of the things we thought was like at least the interior for this Bengals offensive line was somewhat healthy. We thought that might be the thing that stood the chance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still Ted Karras and the poor offensive guard who had a terrible game. He's like one of the healthy starters. He was the worst offensive lineman I felt like in this game. You know, he just tore them up. And then even then, you want to put him on the outside. Chris Jones on the biggest play of the game bumps outside the defensive end, comes out to the huge sack there too. I mean, it was an incredible game for him, and it opened up other things too. I mean, Frank Clark had some big moments in this game. I mean, just top to bottom, it was an impressive performance from the defensive line.
Yeah, do you think Hakeem Adeniji was annoyed when he's like, okay, I'm now off, I'm now right tackle here. This is good. Glad I can be, don't have to worry about Chris Jones. And then all of a sudden, Chris Jones comes over here. He's like, what do I got to do to get away from this guy? I had to play you in the AFC Championship last year on the inside. Now I'm on the outside. You're coming over here. Leave me alone.
Yeah, he's just following him around, stalking
Yeah,
his prey. Honestly,
it's rude.
yeah. I mean, look, I thought what Spagnuolo did with this defensive line, I thought the way they disguised stuff was really impressive in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the biggest thing was they were able to confuse Cincinnati a lot of this game, and that won them this game. But I just thought there was still chances to go outside on these guys, and I just didn't see enough of it.
I don't disagree. I'm always a fan of taking shots downfield as much as possible, and I don't disagree. Let's have a chat saying, will the Bengals ever fix their O line? Yes, they did.
Yeah, I mean they did until it all got hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
they paid their offensive line, they fixed everything that we wanted, and you know the injuries stink, but we can't really blame injuries at this point of the season. Everyone's hurt.
I mean, you can blame. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to San Francisco. I
Well,
mean,
that's a little different, yeah.
a little, yeah, sure, but no. I think that's fair. But again, I do think you have to give credit to the Chiefs and what they were able to do, and I think it's fair to say like I don't know. I think we covered it. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered everything. I mean, is there anything we missed? We talked about officiating. We talked about quarterbacks. We talked about Chris Jones. That was basically the game.
Yeah, let's eulogize the Bengals here.
Okay.
Another great season for them as they come so close. I mean, again, if that personal foul at the end doesn't happen, there's a real chance that who knows? Maybe this game's still going on. If that doesn't happen, they came so close when they converted at 3rd and 16. I really thought they were going to pull it off again. I really felt like the Bengals were going to find a way to do it. I don't know. I guess you're just kind of the same spot you've been in, right? Still trying to patch up the offensive line a little bit more. I think they need an Eli Apple replacement. That feels like a real concern. But as a whole, I mean, you think about it, the Bengals are going to have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow for their entire careers if they're not stupid. They're going to be all right.
Well, Higgins, when does Higgins need to get paid? I guess is the question.
I believe he's been 3 years, so he still has another year.
He's still got some time, yeah. But I mean, there are a few things they have to address. Jesse Bates and Von Bell are free agents, and I mean, however you feel about him, Eli Apple's a free agent too. Hayden Hurst, I thought, had a good year. He's a free agent, but that's someone they should be able to bring back. So there are things that they're going to have to address. And the other thing is, too, with all this is, um, you know, they're eventually going to have to start preparing for this Burrow contract.
Sure.
He's going to want the blank check and fill in his number. So that's going to be another part of this going forward. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a few things. They got to fix up that secondary, make sure they bring all those guys back, get that offensive line healthy. They'll be back next season.
Yeah, and listen, all those guys deserve to be paid. All those guys, if they're, I still think, we have some. If the Bengals aren't stupid, LOL, have you followed this franchise? Okay, fair enough. But I'm just saying, as long as they do the right thing, they should be okay. There's things you can be. They have 43 million in cap space right now. This is a team that should. Well, yes, that's the downside is you have to start paying them. The bright side is you still get another year of all these guys on rookie deals. This next year is a year that you can really go for it. And I wouldn't hate if they did at all. And even, after this, you still have, Burrow has the 5th-year option as well. So, and again, even once they're getting paid, you're still going to be a team that's going to be really competitive because you have those 3 guys.
Yeah. I don't even know what their salary cap situation looks like for next year, but I'm assuming with that, all those rookies, it's still pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, I mean, if you don't bring back one of Bates or Bell, that's going to become a big part because I think those safety, we kind of say safeties are the least important part of the secondary. I do think those safeties are pretty important for them.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, Zachary Stewart bringing up a good point. Kelsey Burrowhead comment thoughts. Yeah, glad you brought that up. That's the other thing that I have to say, Kyle. My last thought about this game is I picked the Bengals. I was very confident about the Bengals, and then this all week you start to hear the Cincinnati mayor making comments about it, and then you have they're calling it Burrowhead. I'm like, okay, why are you doing all this before the game has started? Felt like felt like the 10th did not end well.
Yeah, that was bizarre, wasn't it? Like, I don't know.
Just wait a week.
I know you've beaten Kansas City, but you do have to remember, like, you haven't won a Super Bowl yet.
Right.
Like 5 years from now, no one's going to give a shit who you are if you don't win the title.
Right.
So talking junk to Kansas City when you haven't won anything, like focus on winning, then talking. Like when has anyone talked before they won and then it worked out in their favor? Like that's
Richard
just idiotic.
Sherman. That was the one.
That was the one. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. So that one out of a billion. I don't know. Yeah. That just seems bizarre. I don't know. You win some shit before you're ready to run your mouth. I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, we will see if they can do that next year. But for now, they will not. The Chiefs will be playing the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Let's talk about a weird game. I tweeted out at halftime. Last week I tweeted out maybe the Eagles might be good when they were destroying the Giants, and people were like, "Oh no, the Giants just suck," and I tweeted it out again in the middle of this game, and people were like, "Oh no, it's just a 4th-string quarterback." Like a lot of people, and I'm like, I'm just making a silly little comment. Why is everyone so mad at me? I thought Twitter was a place for fun. What's happening here?
Yeah, Twitter is no longer a place for fun. The Eagles are good. They are a very good football team. This is a very talented team. And at the end of the day, guess what? If the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year, no one's going to care 5 years from now who they played, who was on the roster, and who was healthy. All that's going to matter is the banner, and that's all we're going to have to care about. And if this Eagle team wins the Super Bowl, they're more than deserving because from the beginning of the year to now, they've been probably the best team in the league. So you have to give them credit for that.
Yeah, we have the chat saying, still remember back earlier in the regular season, Kyle kept doubting the Eagles. Kyle, do you need to apologize to the Eagles?
Yeah, I thought that, I was still skeptical of things early in the season, and I think I came around more and more. I still picked the Niners in this game, but I mean, I would have liked to see this game with both, with the quarterbacks, but at the same time, the Eagles outplayed them.
Well, yeah, I think it's like, I don't know. I don't get why, like, both things can be true, right? The Niners had an absolutely abysmal quarterback situation because of the injury to Purdy and Josh Johnson. Not ideal when you have 4 quarterbacks who are banged up. But, when you have something like this happen, obviously that affects things. But, like, we could still evaluate the game. And if this happened in the regular season, we would still say, hey, good win by the Eagles. We would also say weird, the way I tweeted it out, and this is how I feel, is I think there is an asterisk on the Niners' loss. I think you sit here and say, given the situation, it was a weird spot. What are you going to do? I think for the Eagles, though, there's no asterisk on their win. You beat who's in front of you. The reason why they got to play the Giants last week was because they earned a 1 seed. Yes, at this point they got lucky with a Purdy injury, but like one lucky, what is Aaron Rodgers not a true champion because Jay Cutler got hurt in the NFC Championship game? Like one injury does not equate to, that's the only reason you're here. The Eagles had lucky breaks on their way to get to the Super Bowl. The Eagles are not lucky to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's all like if Minnesota had managed to beat that Giants team, would we say San Francisco's lucky because they played Minnesota? Like I don't
Right.
get it. Like
Right.
I don't know.
Mhm.
Like it's hard to like I can understand the strength of schedule argument when it's the middle of the regular season and say like if a team's like 7-1 in the regular season and you're like, yeah, I don't know, they haven't really played anybody. That's fair. But the team's making the freaking Super Bowl. Like at
Right.
some point, strength of schedule does not matter. At some point,
Mhm.
who you play does not matter. Like you have made it to the point where you are the best team in the NFC, and it was a weird NFC season. It was, but this was by far the best team from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This isn't fluky.
Well, yeah, and also like I have to say too, like putting up, I get the situation. I get that how offense and defense does work together, all of that. Putting up 31 points, regardless of how you do it, is still impressive against this Niners defense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they did a pretty good job.
It wasn't perfect.
No, it was a pretty ugly game at times for sure. I
Sure.
thought San Francisco I thought they did pretty well defensively, but at the same time, they ended up letting this game get away from them. And I guess my one question: do you think Shanahan kind of just mailed it in?
No. Why do you think he did?
He didn't call a timeout the whole game. He didn't. He didn't
Well,
like.
maybe at the end he did. I don't. That's probably true.
But the
Shanahan was mad at the
entire
refs. Shanahan was very upset at them.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I felt like he didn't call a timeout the entire game. Like it just seemed like he was like, if Josh Johnson completes a pass, I am perfectly happy. If he doesn't, it's okay. We tried our best. I don't know. This wasn't the most creative Kyle Shanahan game, I thought, until the very end where they had like 4 reverse handoffs on the last drive because Brock Purdy literally couldn't throw it 5 yards. I
Hmm.
mean, at that point, they should have just put McCaffrey at quarterback and seen what happened.
Yeah, I like the idea of. I saw someone say just punt it on first down and then try to get like a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, I mean that would have been something. That's like the Joe Judge, back-to-back QB sneaks.
Right. Yeah. Joe Judge was ahead of his time.
Yeah. So the thing was the defense just got so frustrated. It seemed like by the end of this, I think the defense definitely felt like this game was lost by halftime because they played well and yet they were down 21-7. They played really
Hmm.
well in the first half and were down 21-7, mostly because their coach didn't challenge the, play on the sideline on a 4th down and 1 that they got to stop. And then a big turnover by their 4th string quarterback set up the 3rd touchdown. Like that they're probably thinking this should have been at least 7-7. Instead, we're down 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sure. Although I do have to say, I thought the Eagles missed some opportunities early on in this game. I thought the Eagles
Yeah.
could have, like, there was that missed. I actually thought Jalen Hurts didn't have a great day in this one.
No.
His numbers are terrible. I didn't realize they were that bad. Of 121 yards on 25 attempts, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The statistics aren't very good. I thought he still made some plays in this one. I didn't think it was as bad as that would suggest, but he definitely missed some throws and could have had another one of those. You know how like in these like I don't know these week 6-7 matchups where he's just having like 300 yards on 30 attempts, kind of things. He could have had that potentially had he had a couple more throws.
Yeah, he had a play. He had one to Brown that I thought Brown had a
Would have been
step
like
on
a
guys.
70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and he missed that one. And then I think there was another one to was it Watkins that he missed too? I mean, he had a
Yeah,
couple
he had
downfield.
a couple.
Yeah, that he definitely missed. But at the same time, like the, the beauty of Jalen Hurts and what makes him so fantastic is even when it's not his best throwing day, I mean, he runs that read option so damn well. I mean,
Yeah.
there how many times did he fake out the cameraman with that read option? Like it felt like 5
Right.
times in this game. Like
Hmm.
it felt like the cameraman's first time working a football game. How bad he was reading these Jalen Hurts handoffs. And he was just so good at it. And it just seemed like whenever they needed a first down there, they were getting it in the second half.
Yeah, another thing I thought that was amazing in this game with the Eagles, which we tend to not give this part of the, as much credit, but I thought the offensive line was fantastic in this. I mean, you
Hmm.
think about the defensive line they had to block, and I mean, they were, I don't know, practically flawless. Gave up one sack in this one. I mean, this felt like a, they really showed why, part of why, they're a huge reason why the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
I think Sumalo and Kelsey is my favorite two offensive linemen in the league. Like
Okay.
Sumalo's just like he's like a what's the truck I'm thinking of with the big thing in front of it for construction to like run stuff over.
Okay. What is it, like a bulldozer?
Yeah, bulldozer. There we go. He's
Okay.
just a bulldozer right there at the line of scrimmage. Wow, I'm losing it. It's lit.
You're good.
And then Jason Kelsey, I mean, he basically is a fullback, like
Right.
disguised as a center. Like the
Uh-huh.
way he punches through holes and just creates holes by pulling as a center. It's one of the most remarkable things you'd ever see. Like
Yeah.
he literally is like a fullback and a center at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. What they're able to do. They're one of the few teams like you actually enjoy watching. Like you're like, oh, I want to see him run the ball more. Like somebody passing. The running is fun.
Yeah. All five of their guys are good on the offensive line. Those two I just thought were fantastic in this game and have been all season, really.
Yeah, Kyle, there was a point in this one where Jalen Hurts got a little shaken up in like the third or fourth quarter, and I was thinking, oh my god, do not make us. Oh no, actually, maybe it would have been a good thing. Maybe Gardner Minshew Super Bowl perhaps. But I'm very happy Jalen Hurts is going to be able to go for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Although he might get suspended. They were just talking about it. Getting off the field, off the sidelines.
That'd be if they did that. The NFL, the NFL is rigged crowd. Would be having a field day.
Could you imagine if like 10 Eagles like got suspended from that?
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Actually, so there's this incident happening late in the game. We have a couple a super chat. I'll go to super chat and then we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Deontay Smith saying Jawan Jennings was a 4-star college recruit at the quarterback position. Not sure why Kyle Shanahan didn't give him a try tonight. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure how much he knows the plays, but that's interesting. Also,
I
poor
mean,
Niners.
let me talk on this real quick because
Sure.
I think people recruiting rankings don't mean crap for high school quarterbacks. I just have to say that. Like,
Okay.
so I just got to say, DJ Dallas is legitimately the running back for the Seahawks. Was legitimately one of the best high school quarterbacks I've ever seen. Like,
Hmm.
honest to God, he was that good of a quarterback. Nobody's asking him to withdraw passing plays in the Seahawks offense. Like, it's a huge step between high school quarterback to the NFL. I'm just, it's not really he hasn't probably thrown the ball since he was 18 too. So that's a huge thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also,
Yeah.
poor Niners went from Zeke at center to Kelsey at center. Yeah, that's very good. That's a tough situation. But yeah, back to the scuffle at the end. There was kind of some pushing and shoving. Eventually, Trent Williams just shoved someone to the ground. There was, then kind of a scuffle broke out. A lot of guys ran off the sideline. I don't know. I'm trying to. I feel like there was no chance. There's no chance that what would have had to happen for someone to get suspended for the Super. Like, here's a question: what would Jalen Hurts have had to do in that instance to get himself suspended for the Super Bowl? I think he could have
Uh,
kicked someone and been okay.
maybe if he like pulled out a chair and like knocked somebody in the head with it, that's probably the closest thing.
Yeah, maybe if he pulled a Myles Garrett.
Yeah. That's probably the only thing that would have got him suspended for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think it would have been tough. I don't think that would have happened. But yeah, no. I mean, again, weird game for the Eagles, but a weird game for the Niners. I mean, this is really a bitter end to what was a fun season for the Niners. They were in a situation where going into this year, we didn't know what to expect with them as they, big questions at the quarterback position. Last year, they made the conference final, but it kind of felt like they got a little bit fluky in there, right? They were underdogs in every playoff game that they were in. So it's just kind of a weird situation. But then this year, they kind of show like, no, they're legit. They belong here. No one was surprised when they made the conference final this time. Brock Purdy Mania was so much fun. I'm sad it's over because it was a lot of fun. But just what what was it, the fifth play or no, earlier than that, I think one of the first plays of the game for him, he ends up getting hit by Hassan Reddick. hurts his arm, and that's that's basically the season. As Kyle Shanahan can work wonders, but seems like no one can win with Josh Johnson out
Well, I mean, 13 teams have tried, so at this
there.
point,
Right. Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it got to the point where it was, that was just too much to overcome. And I think the thing is too is like I thought they got a little bit of a rhythm going, and I was like, maybe if they get into the half down 14-7, because I know the Eagles came back down and scored, you're like, okay,
Hmm.
maybe there's a chance here. But then to drop that snap there, and then the Eagles get
Yeah.
another one. As soon as that happened, I was like, okay, this is it. I didn't need to
Hmm.
see the second half, and didn't want to see the second half after what I watched.
Yeah, to be honest, Josh Johnson did not look ready, and it's kind of hard to blame him. I think he's, I don't know how many of these people he even like knows by their name. Like, I mean, how long has he been with the Niners at this point? I don't know. So it's like you can't really blame him in this spot. Like a fourth string quarterback just isn't going to, gel perfectly. But like, there was some they weren't getting the play in time and things like that. There were just some issues going on, which again, there are going to be issues when you have your fourth string quarterback in, but like, you hope that things work out okay. You hope you could at least run the offense, and he just wasn't able to do it, unfortunately, and that's a big part of why they lost.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's really tough. And I mean, how much time do you think he actually had to learn this playbook and be ready? I mean, there's just nothing you can really prepare for. Um, I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can envision a scenario where Josh Johnson was good enough to win this game. I really don't.
Yeah, it just the scenario certainly the scenario would at least be he's like their backup quarterback all season long and has time to prepare for them and stuff like that. It's just weird. Where I don't know, that Christian McCaffrey run was cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was good in
Hmm.
this game, and
Hmm.
I guess if we're gonna eulogize, as we eulogize all these teams in the playoffs so far, if we're
Hmm.
gonna eulogize the 49ers, I mean, at the very least, the first part is figuring out the quarterback situation, which one of those guys is going to start.
Hmm.
But you could take some solace in Trent Williams is coming back, Debo Samuel is coming back, George Kittle's coming back, and Christian McCaffrey's coming back, and that's a pretty good place to start.
Yeah, they have a couple of guys they have to re-sign, but nothing that major, and they should be able to re-sign those guys or replace them. So that's kind of the good news. They should be able to keep this core together. One of the things that's funny, Kyle, is their first draft pick in this upcoming draft will be in round 5.
Wow,
They don't
because
have
of
a
all the
draft pick
trades, yeah,
because of the they still don't have a first round pick from the Trey Lance trade, and then with the McCaffrey trade, they don't have a second, third, or fourth round pick, meaning that they don't pick again. They have 2 fifth-round picks though.
yeah. Well, hopefully they get an all pro. They're going to have to draft a right tackle because, just manifesting Mike McGlinchey to the New England Patriots. That's all I want.
I see. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's one of their free agents, which they could re-sign or replace. I think they should be okay there. And again, the nice thing you have is we always say the value of having a quarterback on a rookie deal. Well, hey, they got 2 of them.
They have 2 quarterbacks on a rookie deal. So what do
Uh,
you do here? I guess is the question.
I
Because
have a
I had
thought.
seen some people
Go ahead.
say, this is Brock Purdy's last start. Um, I don't know if
Hmm.
that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's true too. Obviously, I think that I'm assuming, like, I don't know. Do they call some of these free agent quarterbacks? Do they let these 2 compete for it? I mean, how does this work?
Here's what I would do. I say Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, neither one of you are quarterback 1, neither one of you are quarterback 2. We have the training camp, we have practice, we have the preseason. We will make our decision at a certain point then of who will be quarterback 1 and who will be quarterback 2. It's an open competition. Let them fight it out and then have a quarterback by the end. And then you have, if it doesn't go well, you have another option.
Yeah.
Just whoever gives you a better chance to win. I think it's that simple. You're a championship contending roster. Whoever gives you the best chance to win. For me, I probably lean Brock Purdy right now. But maybe they like what they see it with in practice with Trey Lance, and if he can win the job, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to tell what Lance is going to be. I mean, he hasn't really had a chance.
Right.
I assume that, there's still a ton of talent there. There's still a lot to like from that draft. that draft him when he showed on tape, but at the same time, like Purdy has shown it in the games a lot more, which is saying something. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes this offseason. I don't think it's going to be a Brady team. I really don't. Like, I get the story, local guy, all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff. But at the same time, like, if you have these two players, one, I know he's on a rookie deal, Trey Lance, but you invested a significant amount to get Trey Lance, and you also have this Brock Purdy thing in your back pocket. Is it really even worth paying $20 million for a quarterback?
Isn't this we're doing it again, Kyle? This is what we said 3 years ago with Brady.
I don't know. This feels different though because the 49ers have more leverage than like everybody else. Like Tampa Bay was like, we need you to win a Super Bowl. The
Mhm.
49ers had the leverage here.
But didn't that happen last time too? The 49ers were like, we're a good team. Like, weren't they like coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, if I remember correctly?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe could have been, I don't know. It's just the parallels between this, and you're right. You can't just assume that the same thing is going to happen because it happened last time. But the parallels between these two situations are just very funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But I mean, these guys are also younger and paid less than Jimmy Garoppolo at that time. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if I'm paying Tom Brady when I have these two guys.
I have one other point, Kyle. So you have Brock Purdy, you have Trey Lance. Do you just need other guys in the room? Why is Kyle Shanahan always get screwed? If like Kyle Shanahan probably wants like 7 quarterbacks to be on his roster.
Maybe that's what they use their 5th round pick on. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, at
both of
this
them.
point.
Well,
Yeah, I
apparently they
mean that.
draft well late with quarterbacks, so maybe not the worst idea.
Yeah, figure something out. That's just crazy. It keeps happening to this team. Like, can we even
Yeah,
blame injuries
unbelievable.
anymore? It's the same thing over and over again. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I don't understand it all. You have to think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be gone. I feel like some team's going to overpay for him, right?
Some team's going to talk themselves into a 1 year Jimmy Garoppolo season, and he's going
And
to
he's
have
coming off a
like,
good year.
yeah, he's going to end up with like 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and then we're going to be like, oh wait, yeah, Kyle Shanahan's really good.
Yeah, in the 8 games he played before getting injured.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I see Garoppolo's gone. You got these two guys. I'd say just let him battle it out.
Yeah, I think that's probably the move. And again, it's a disappointing end. I think this is a good season for the Niners. I think that I see no reason why they shouldn't be back next year.
Uh, I mean, they once they address that secondary, because that's probably the biggest thing is they got like 3 or 4 guys at
As long as
corner.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see a reason, and they probably going to replace D'Amico Ryans because it sounds like he's going to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but at the same time, they've done a really good job getting defensive coordinators in that building, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Agree with everything you said. Kyle, we talked about I teased the calls in this one. Let's talk about when we talk about Shanahan, the not challenging a play where it was a 4th down bomb to Devonta Smith, which appeared to be a great catch, but on further review, we later realized was not a catch. It was an incomplete pass. And it was weird because like they went to commercial and I uploaded a video saying like, okay, let's break this down. Doesn't really seem like a catch. I don't see like, or I'm not sure if it's a catch or not. I can't see a clear angle. And in a second, I get, post it and watch the next clip. They're like, here is this clear angle saying it's not a catch. I'm like, okay, well that's great. Now I gotta fix that. But it was not a catch. Shanahan though, the Eagles rushed up to the line. Shanahan chose not to risk the challenge. Obviously, in hindsight, it should have been a challenge. He assumed it was a catch at the time, and again, I believe the commentator even said like they're hurrying up, but they don't have to worry about it. It was a catch, and it wasn't. But if that was a challenge, I don't think the game changes. I don't know what would have happened to change this game unless the butterfly effect meant that Purdy wouldn't have gotten injured or something like that. But the reality is this was the first missed call, and there were several weird ones.
Yeah, obviously it stinks not to get that challenge flag off, but I mean, so the one question I have about all this is because we see it time and time again, like, what is these expedited NFL officiating things from the booth doing? Like, they have access to all of this, so we think.
Mm-hmm.
And like we see it all the time. Like they had it on that Chiefs play where the Mahomes was tackled in the backfield. He flipped the ball, and they initially called it a completed pass, but then they, said, "Oh, his knee was down." Like especially on a 4th and 1. How is that not ready for an expedited review sort of thing?
Well, 'cause I
Like,
think the
why?
Eagles rushed to the line, right? Isn't that part of the thing? Is like, you have to, you only have the time that you have. It's sort of like they don't want to just review every play, right? They can't just slow down they can't let the Eagles not run a hurry up.
But they are literally reviewing every play. That's the whole point of this, right? That they can get a review
But
in
it's
in 10
without
seconds.
slowing the. But you don't want to have like a full, 5-minute review every play.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I thought the whole point of this was that they can quickly get calls down to the field if something's blatantly wrong. And this was blatantly wrong, I thought.
I disagree. I disagree for two reasons. For one, I think there was only one angle that showed that it was blatantly wrong. I think every other angle you couldn't really tell. So would have taken some time to find the right angle. The other reason I disagree is I think the system is designed that the clear and obvious stuff that you see right away that gets called, like the Mahomes thing you talked about earlier, that they'll look at the first review they see that it's different, and then they can change it. The more difficult stuff, which takes a little bit more time to review, that's what the challenges are for. That's what Shanahan has. Shanahan should have taken the chance to throw the challenge flag. He chose not to. To me, it's not a system failure. It's a Shanahan failure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's fair because I mean, at the same time, he's got to be able to get that out, and he's got to figure, if so. I saw the thing with I think McAfee tweeted out like, if you see a guy rushing to the line, you should immediately throw a challenge flag.
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some
Right. Because
argument to
Smith
it.
was doing it. He was the
Yeah,
ones like calling the thing.
yeah, he was the one hurrying everyone to the line. I mean,
Hmm.
at that point, you probably got to think it's not a catch. I mean, because we haven't actually seen someone like fake running to the line to get someone to burn a challenge flag, right? Like
Yeah.
no
Be a good
no
move.
NFL player I don't think has ever thought of that.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna. Well, and it kind of takes me to my next thing about like the wire thing of the ball hit the wire, and went like sideways basically after that, and ended up being like a shanked punt, but it wasn't. It was just the ball hit the wire, and like it is because everyone on the Eagles bench immediately points towards the wire. Like no one would have ever like. There's no way they would have coordinated that. They didn't say like, okay, we're gonna shank it on this one, and everyone's gonna point to the wire. Like you
Yeah.
can't plan that thing kind of thing happening. But then like again you watch the like a replay and it's like, okay, I can't say definitively if it hit the wire, but we know it did. It's just kind of like that. That was another weird one.
Well, it was funny because like they were saying why isn't there a cam I kept seeing why isn't there an a camera angle of this? Like
Hmm.
the sky cam is literally supposed to be the highest camera angle. Like
Right.
I don't know why someone would think of having a higher camera angle to view the wire.
Right.
That's a really tough one. Like if the ref doesn't see it, because it happened to the Patriots this year. uh,
Hmm.
where
That was a
I don't,
pass. Yeah.
yeah, I don't care what ESPN says. The ball
Uh-huh.
clearly hits the wire and changes direction,
Hmm.
and he was throwing the ball away and it led to a pick. Um, so I mean, it's just bizarre because it's really like unless you're paying attention to it, because they showed it the multiple cameras of like the overhead thing. You
Hmm.
can't even see the wire in the footage. Like you actually can't see it.
Right.
So
Kyle,
it
I
was
have a
bizarre.
plan. I have a plan. You get a guy. You have the guy sit near the wire. If the wire does like a wobble, then you say, okay, it hit the wire.
What if we get a tightrope person
Ooh.
walker, and then if they fall because something hits the wire and knocks them over, we know that it's
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah,
we
this is
know that it
perfect.
hit the wire. Yeah, I mean, there we go. This is the foolproof plan.
Yeah, okay. This is the NFL. Let us know. There was also a controversial roughing the punter penalty in this one. It was ruled roughing instead of running into.
Oh, that was a
Where
horrible call. Oh my
Okay,
god.
well, let's talk about it. So here's so the rule is it's a little bit of a confusing rule. The rule is if you hit the kicking leg while it's in the air, then it's running into. It's not roughing. There is an amendment to it, which is if the ref deems it to be enough force, you can make it roughing. You can choose to make it roughing if it's enough force. Kind of looked like he was pushed into the punter from one angle. I thought from the other angle it actually didn't look as bad, but there was a little bit of a push there. To me, it felt like it should have been just running into. That's the call I would have made. Although the one thing I also have to say is there's a note that says if it's questionable, then you rule it roughing. If there's any question, you rule it roughing, not running into. I still thought it was running into.
Yeah, I did too. And not to mention, isn't it if the offensive lineman is pushing the defensive lineman, it's a known call?
Yeah, but I didn't actually. I think it looked like that from one angle. I didn't actually think he was doing that. I thought that it just kind of his arms ended up. There was one angle where it looked like that, but then like when you look at the overhead angle, I think that he was just blocking, and he got done with the block, kind of at that point, and his hands were on the Niners player, but his momentum was already taking him there.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I thought it was running. I didn't think there was enough. Like, it wasn't like he knocked this guy straight over or anything, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
the punter was largely able to kind of avoid the hit. But I mean, there was enough contact to throw the flag, but he was largely able to throw the hit that I didn't understand the call.
Yeah,
It could have been running.
I think just the way that he kind of fell down, the fact that it kind of caused him to fall over. Again, another thing it says in the rule is that if it feels like there's something about like if it seems like there's like a threat to an injury, like if it's a risk of injury, then it's roughing as well. Which I'm assuming that's why. I'm assuming that's why it was called. I think the Eagles probably go for it on 4th and 1 though,
Yeah, I think so too. Nick Sirianni goes for it on everything. I
and I'm
mean,
pretty sure they get it too.
yeah, because they have this, quarterback sneak play
Right, because they have
that
the
gets
best.
it just about
They have
every
your
time.
two guys on the interior.
Yeah, this was the one time I saw it once in this game where it didn't work, and it was shocking that it didn't work. But it was
Mm-hmm.
also like 3rd and 1.5, and it was kind of bizarre
Uh-huh.
to run it on that play, but they
Right.
did. And then they ran in another play like the next play and still got it.
Yeah. No. A lot of good stuff by these two teams. I don't have anything else to add for this game. Do you have anything?
No, I think we just about covered it. Like I said, I mean, the Eagles played well. I guess one of the things too is Hassan Reddick was awesome in this game. We gave
Yeah.
our flowers to Chris Jones, and uh, there might have been an argument for a Defensive Player of the Year not snub, at least nominated. Maybe not win it, but at least nominated. I thought.
I can see it. Yeah. I mean, he got to the quarterback a lot this year. Incredible year from him. Again, one of those weird
Yeah.
things where, like, I don't know. Hassan Reddick is going to be the people. There's people are going to talk themselves into like 8 different defensive linemen saying he could be our Hassan Reddick this year.
Yeah. I mean, he
And
might have been the signing of the summer, but at the same time, like, so it was bizarre because he's like PFF's like 3rd best defensive lineman on Philadelphia. But he's
okay,
also
sure.
like, yeah, he's also like the 13th best defensive lineman in the league by PFF grade.
Uh
And
huh.
he's got the numbers to back it up. I mean, he was pretty spectacular, I thought, this season.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham both with higher grades there. Actually, and then Javon Hargrave is 13th among the interior defensive linemen, whereas Reddick is 13th among edge rushers. So interesting stuff there. But yeah, I mean, this Eagles. I was worried for Joe Burrow's safety when it looked like the Bengals could win that game, and they played the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah, you would hope Cap is able to play or something like that, but don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that now.
No, do not. Although hopefully Mahomes is healthy there. We have the great I almost called him super lap overlap 618. Where do the
Super.
Niners go from here at quarterback? Do they trade Trey Lance and Jimmy G? What about Purdy? Where does Brady fit into this? And where does he go? Overlap. We said this. We went over this.
We did go over this. Keep
Mm-hmm.
both Lance and Purdy. Let them battle it out.
Yeah.
You need both quarterbacks because one of those quarterbacks getting hurt knowing your luck.
What if they could get Lamar?
Huh. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be. I would do that if you can get Lamar. I don't know. That'd be fun.
It's going to be an interesting Lamar conversation this offseason. There's a couple teams I'm looking at that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Is one of them? Does one of them happen to play in New England?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I mean, fingers crossed, but I mean, that's not who I was looking at.
Yeah, I would say are the two. I think the two that we are thinking about are Tampa Bay and the Patriots, but I don't know how likely that is.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of either of those teams. The most fun for me would be if the most fun offseason content to me would be if Minnesota could trade Kirk Cousins and then get Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, that would be good. Also, Overlap says, "Sorry, I clicked off. It's okay, Overlap. We understand. It happens. Yes. No. We'll get into all of that in a second. We will get into this offseason. Plenty of time to talk about the Lamar Jackson of it all. Should be an awesome Super Bowl. I mean, this is I don't know at least best team in the NFC and best team in the AFC. I think are here. I think the two best teams in football. I think this season, last year was the year of the upset. This year is the year of the right teams winning. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, this was I would say from beginning of the season to the end of the season, these are the two best teams. I think you could make an argument at times San Francisco and Cincinnati played better.
Mm-hmm.
like you could say this the best version of Cincinnati and best version of San Francisco this season were the two best teams this year. But I
Sure.
think from the beginning to the end of the year, I mean, the records speak for themselves too. These are the two best teams.
Yeah, absolutely dominant. And again, you think about the Eagles. Like the Eagles have lost one. The only team to beat the Eagles with Jalen Hurts as a starter is the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, what is the combined record now? 32-6 between these two teams this year. I mean, that's incredible stuff.
Uh-huh. And it'd be 32-4 if you just look at the starters record.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, yeah, should be awesome. We are going to have plenty of coverage. So we got to talk about how we're going to do this because typically, so we have 3 shows to fill before the Super Bowl. Typically, we do the Wednesday before the Super Bowl. That's our preview. I'm assuming we're still doing that this year, correct?
Yeah, of course. We'll do our picks at the very last moment.
Okay. Yeah. So then I think what we always do is as well is we'll do an MVP draft. Right? That's what we've done in the past. Do you want to do that this year as well? Or should we do this off air? Should we figure out our plans off air?
No, we can talk about it. If
Yeah, let
anyone
the
wants to
chat
stick
know.
around.
Let the
So
chat.
yeah,
Mhm.
so obviously this Wednesday we will do what do we want to do this Wednesday? Do we want to do off-season recap stuff?
Yeah, I was wondering if you want to do that. Sure, we can do that. Let's do like an off-season recap.
Because we
This
haven't talked
Wednesday.
on any of the coaching stuff. We haven't talked on
Hmm.
draft stuff. We haven't, upcoming free agents, that kind of thing. We could touch on that. I would say Sunday the 5th, we'll draft our Super Bowl MVPs.
Okay.
And then the 8th, we'll do our preview and picks.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Like it. Sounds good. And then obviously, so we're going to be doing it. We want to just do so we'll do 9 each day, Wednesday and Sunday until the Super Bowl, where we'll be back at. Let's do midnight on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So just to reiterate, Wednesday at 9, we will be doing a general recap of the offseason, maybe get some Super Bowl stuff in there as well. I'm sure there will be some things that come out about these games in the next couple of days. So we can talk about all of that. Then on Sunday, a week from today, we will draft who we believe will win Super Bowl MVP. That's always kind of a show that gets off the rails, always a fun one. And then I really think our best show of the year is always our Super Bowl preview. I think we do always a lot of fun stuff there and interesting stuff because we've been diving into every single little thing about the Super Bowl, and that one's always I think a very good one. That will be a week from Wednesday at 9. All these are at 9, and then finally midnight after the Super Bowl, we will recap the Super Bowl and talk about who is the Super Bowl champion. Only one football game left, Kyle.
One football game left, but it's the biggest of them all. We're getting ready for it. How early do you think it's too early to draft Jason Kelce as Super Bowl MVP?
I think pick 2 would be too early. I think you gotta go with gotta go Hurts 1 and Minshew 2, and then I think you go Kelce.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think so. And then Mahomes is 4.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Travis Kelce.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, someone's gonna take that seriously and get mad at Mahomes. Still no respect.
Oh my God! Put some respect on his name.
I think my 2 favorite people are the Mahomes gets no respect person and the Mahomes is actually bad person. I think those 2 people are. Just goes to show the internet will argue about anything.
Yeah, Mahomes isn't doing anything we haven't seen before.
If Mahomes if Mahomes makes this pass, the internet goes crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's always good stuff. I mean, I don't know. This feels like what is that tweet that like people are just arguing with no one sometimes? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry can't shoot. That's
Right.
the Mahomes is over. Mahomes is disrespected kind of conversation to me.
Right.
I think he's
Exactly.
well respected.
Yeah. I think we got it. I think we're we're aware. Yeah. No. Should be awesome. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Should be a lot of fun. Cannot wait for the Super Bowl. It really does feel like it's the. I don't know. I love when a Super Bowl feels bigger than it is, right? And either way, you're going to have an awesome story here of the Eagles winning a Super Bowl, having the best rebuild in NFL history, or you have the Chiefs, Mahomes getting his second ring and kind of building that legacy. It should be awesome either way.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and looking forward to it. Arizona in 2 weeks. We should
Yes.
do it live from Arizona.
We should, yeah. We won't, but if anyone wants to sponsor us, let us know. To let us go to Arizona. You can tweet at me as at by Kyle Grondin.
Yeah, don't tweet at me.
Yes, Kyle, let him know where we can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Make sure to follow him at Jackson Kruger Sports. Make sure to follow me. Oh no, at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Grondin, and make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That's at On the Sideline JK.
Yes, of course. If you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get the audio only podcast, it's available. It's on the Sideline podcast. So check that out. Kyle, your Bruins are doing good.
Yeah, until we just lost 3 in a row. But
Well, yeah, that wasn't great. That Panthers game was tough.
yeah, the Lightning game was so stupid. I hate Andrei Vasilevsky. Can that guy just lose his legs or something? Like
Kyle,
in a very non-serious way, can he lose his legs? I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this man being in my life.
You got. This is what we all had to deal with Brady for 20 years. Now I get to have one of these guys. I'm holding on to him.
I don't think Andrei Vasilevsky is quite the same, but he is very good. I mean,
I'm not saying he's Brady. I'm just saying he's a superstar.
I can't take it. Like this guy, it seems like every time he plays us, he stands on his head too. I just hate it.
I think there's 30 other teams that also feel like that.
Yeah, that's probably true. But yeah, he is very good. Basically won you that game because we had a lot of offensive zone time. Got to get right here. 3 in a row. Don't want to see that. Let's get back in the win column. Play in Toronto, our favorite place in Toronto.
There you go.
Let's make it happen.
I also have to say though, I know there's talk about set the win total. Trust me, not as good as it sounds. As a Lightning fan, not always fun to tie to win record for most wins.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I mean, up until this losing streak, we were on pace to beat the points record. I think we might still be on the pace to beat the points record, but it's not a great recipe for success for teams winning a whole bunch of games, getting a whole bunch of points, and then winning the cup. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I wouldn't mind if we get Patrick Kane too. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's fun either way. Maybe it'll be fun if they play each other in playoffs, Lightning and Bruins.
I think I'd rather avoid you guys.
Yeah, I think the same. To be honest, I don't know. Can we play Toronto in round 1 and 2? I prefer that.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, some hockey talk here at the end.
Love hockey. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I was actually at the game on Saturday. Yesterday.
Yeah, how'd that one go?
Well, I didn't realize so I got 2 tickets as a gift, and then we didn't realize it was Gasparilla that day. Which, if anyone who has lived near Tampa will know that you do not go to Tampa on Gasparilla unless you are going for Gasparilla because it's incredibly crowded. It ended up actually being okay though. It was fun. It was all like pirate themed.
Yeah, I gotta say, Tampa in general is one of the worst structured traffic cities that doesn't actually normally have traffic I have ever seen. Going to Raymond James,
I thought there's worse.
I don't know. Like I feel like when there's like events in Tampa, I feel like all hell breaks loose. Like Raymond James can be a nightmare at times, I feel like. And getting to St. Pete is a disaster every day.
Well, St. Pete, I mean, that's
yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal. No, that's part of what I was going to say is, well, I compare Tampa to St. Pete because those are the 2 places I go to have, 2 cities I go to that have teams.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't lump those 2 together, but I do. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Raymond James sometimes can be really bad for me.
That's true. The Lightning got you in. I don't know. I always am able to find parking at the Lightning. That's the one. I don't know how they do it, but like that's the one. Like one place I've ever been to. Also, Sunrise, where the Panthers play. That's maybe the worst I've been to.
Yeah. So shockingly, downtown stadium helps your parking situation.
Yeah.
So build your stadiums downtown, you idiots. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Good way to end the show, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. All right. Good. Thank you to everybody. We do appreciate it listening to us all year. Been fun. 3 podcasts left of the regular season, but we will be back. We'll still be podcasting throughout the off season. So definitely, yes. Watch all of that. But yeah, that's your show. Thank you everybody for watching or listening. We appreciate it. And until next time, see you later, alligator.
Peace.